There's a new Social Security payment schedule, and monthly benefits for Social Security recipients will be arriving in a few days. These payments range anywhere from $500 to $4,000. There are also new updates on the current inflation rate and how this will affect the next cost of a living adjustment. With 1 month of consumer price data left to go before a final determination, it appears there will be a Social Security cost of living adjustment for 2024, but it won't nearly be as high as a massive adjustment in later years. Because according to the Senior Citizens League, the Social Security COLA next year will be likely 3% based on a jump in the Consumer Price Index. A COLA of 3% would raise an average monthly retirement benefit of $1,800 by $57, while a 3% COLA is significantly lower than the 8% received in the year. The highest COLA in average in more than 4 decades is still higher than the average over the past 20 years. The last month, the group predicted that the COLA may get a 3% next year. In its annual report released in March, the Medicare trustees forecast Part B premiums increased from $164 to $174. Social Security benefits are actually modest, replacing roughly a third of middle earners' average wages. Making matters worse is that most adults claiming Social Security before the full retirement age receive permanent reduced benefits. Whether you're looking to retire soon or just getting started in your career, you may be wondering how much money you'll get each month from Social Security when you decide to retire. While the answer is usually different for everyone, there is a cap that applies to everyone for how much you can actually receive each month. First, the amount you receive from Social Security is determined by your lifetime earnings. Second, it depends on when you decide to start receiving benefits. The maximum Social Security benefit you can receive each month is based in part of when you decide to start receiving benefits. Your full retirement benefits age depends on your date of birth, and if you were born in 1960, your full retirement age is 67. Because according to experts this year, if you want to receive the maximum Social Security amount when you retire, you'll need to make at least $160,000. The maximum taxable amount changes every year, so it'll likely be different when you retire. But millions of borrowers will actually have to resume their monthly payments this month, and the amount borrowers owe for the first time is actually due. Student loan payments were paused, but now things are going back to normal. Interest on outstanding student loans already resumed on September 1st, after it had been almost a year since it's going through. While payments do resume this month, if borrowers were unable to begin paying their loans off at a time, a temporary on-ramp will exist through September 30th just to get people through. Now, all borrowers will resume payments in October, and those who graduated this spring will not have to begin making payments until their grace period ends.
Companies that are doing applied R&D or productization of AI technologies for the purposes of intellectual property theft.
Okay, thank you. So the National Institute for Standards and Technology, otherwise known as NIST, describes trustworthy AI as incorporating validity and reliability, accountability, and privacy among other essential building blocks. In its 2019 AI guidelines, the EU included ethics principles for trust.
Here, just for you guys, continue watching this video. You don't want to miss out on this. Lawmakers have announced big news. The inflation relief checks are on the way. New bills are being worked on by the Biden administration. And if you meet the eligibility requirements, you may be eligible for a one-time stimulus direct deposit to your state. Now, I want to talk about this. There are millions of seniors and Social Security retirees living on fixed income. What this means is that there are millions of people needing to help and needing to get money. First of all, Democrats may not control the House of Representatives anymore, but lawmakers are still trying to pass new relief. Congress is not continuing to go on with this, but other congressional Democratic congressmen are trying to approve a bill that will help you folks out. Representatives and are promoting a progressive policy that will be on display as they reintroduce the Save Medicare Act. This is a provision that includes the Inflation Reduction Act. It allows Medicare to negotiate prices and things like that. And beginning in 2026, first of all, Medicare will also begin negotiating the price of 10 prescriptions that cost the federal government the most money, followed by more than 15 prescriptions in 2027. First of all, researchers estimated how much money the new policy would have, and it was actually surprisingly a lot of money. The most recent years for which data is available on Medicare spending have shown some important statistics. First of all, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid said early this month that it is still working on this plan for exactly how it's going to implement this negotiation. Like I said, nationally and in every state, the minimum cost for living for older adults is calculated by the Elder Index, far exceeding the federal poverty thresholds, which are used to calculate official poverty statistics. The Elder Index estimates that a single older adult paying rent needed about 27 grand to pay for basic expenses. For couples, the gap between the index's population and calculation for necessities and a poverty threshold was even greater. Yet eligibility for Medicaid, food stamps, housing assistance, and other safety net programs have helped older adults that are basing their living off the federal poverty standards. I also want to say that the University of Massachusetts researchers have showed that Social Security benefits cover only a fraction of what older adults need for the basic living expenses. A massive tax break plan has been agreed upon in the state of Michigan. And the amount of your rent rebate depends on your half income. Half Social Security income cannot be excluded from the calculation. For example, if you receive $20,000 of Social Security, you may only count 10 grand as your income to qualify for the rent rebate. Folks, renters with an annual income of $8,000 or less will receive a rent rebate of $650. So hopefully this can help people out within the stimulus cash. There are billions of dollars in unclaimed money available. Checks are being distributed in varying ways, amounting from 50 to even 10,000 grand. And now, 1 in 7 Americans qualify right now for some extra money. And now, according to Yahoo News, billions of dollars of unclaimed property is being held by state governments for safekeeping, just waiting for Americans to reclaim what's rightfully theirs. And like a giant lost and found, state treasuries look for financial assets, including missed paychecks and utility refunds they've abandoned or forgotten by their owners. Now, often people don't realize that they have unclaimed property but Oregon Treasurer Tobias Reed has announced the agency's plan to return approximately $10 million in unclaimed funds as part of the Checks Without Claims initiative. The effort will be the largest mass disbursement of funds by Oregon's Unclaimed Property Program to date. Checks distributed will vary in varying amounts from $50,000 to $10,000. And the New York State Comptroller's Office is also currently holding $18 billion in everyday people's lost money, and it returns $1.5 million to people who file claims daily. And a lot of people are missing out on lots of claim filings. There are over $7 billion sent to go to people in June, and even more is coming. The Biden administration has also approved $20 million in investments to help finance clean energy projects, including installing electric vehicles, charging stations, retrofitting homes to make them energy efficient, and providing communities with battery backup power. Senior officials have said that the investment across 2 grant competitions aims to help communities. The latest projections from the Social Security Trustees Program combined funds may run out in 2034, at which 80% of benefits will be payable. And the fund used to pay retirement benefits may run out even sooner, in 10 years, at which point 77% of benefits will actually be payable as well. And during a Senate hearing, the SSA Chief Secretary stated that Social Security is a pay-as-you-go program, and up to 160 grand in earnings are subject to payroll taxes. In 1983, when major bills were enacted to shore up Social Security trust funds, 90% of uncovered benefits fell below the terrible maximum. And since then, it has remained above that same level. And even the Senate Budget Committee chairman has touted this bill, which is called the Medicare and Social Security Fair Share Act. It would require wages above 400 grand to be taxed for Social Security. Other Democrats also support the idea of making high earners pay a large sum into the program. Representative Larson and the senators introduced the Social Security 2100 Act bill with more than 200 Democratic co-sponsors.